Valerie, so today we're going to talk a little bit about what some of the challenges are for the pharmaceutical supply chain, specifically at the end of the supply chain as the product is getting to the consumer, either through retail or through other means, like a pharmacy. So could you tell me what you are seeing today as some of the challenges for the pharmaceutical supply chain in that last mile delivery because of the COVID-19 pandemic that we're experiencing today?
Sure. So everyone's supposed to be at home, and so no one's out getting what they would normally get on their own, and so that's really overwhelming the entire last mile piece of the supply chain because there's more volume going through all of the channels, and so everybody's competing to get that space on the truck or in the car or whatever it might be. And so there's just massive amounts of volume going through. And so, it's important to get your groceries and everything else that you're looking to get. But, pharmacy is different. People need the items that are being delivered there to make sure that they're staying healthy. And so that piece is critical. And so really one of the biggest challenges is just that they're competing with everybody else that's out there that's sending items.
Okay, and so the challenges are there's not enough people or services doing this last mile delivery?
Well, it depends where you are. In certain areas, there's a ton of people who are available to do it, but then you hit, rural America, and there's not as many people there. And so, those people might have other forms of employment. They might be teachers or doctors. And so we're seeing an influx of people who are now out of work joining the Roadie platform to be drivers because those items still need to be delivered in rural America where they've had less experience with, say, crowdsourcing or the gig economy. There's a lot of rural areas in the country that don't have Uber or Lyft, and so people in that area aren't accustomed to this same level of on-demand as somebody might be in, New York City or San Francisco or Atlanta.
Okay, interesting. So, how are the pharmaceuticals? How are we solving this delivery challenge right now? Then
we're seeing a lot of pharmacies get creative and innovative. We've got compounding pharmacies that would maybe never have thought to use crowdsourced delivery. They've been using UPS or some overnight service for years, but now that's not good enough because it's just not getting there fast enough. And then they're looking at solutions like Roadie that they might not have looked at before. They might have never have really thought to use something like that. And a lot of people have a little bit of wariness about the crowdsourced platform because it's new. And so there's a lot of unknowns about it. But people are really looking to the internet to do some research and learning that a crowdsourced solution is a very viable solution. And 9 times out of 10, it's going to get there faster than anything else because it is an on-demand platform.
Okay, what are some of the issues, though, with this last mile delivery from a crowdsource platform point of view? Is there a significant difference in the safety aspect of it from a handling point of view, or how does that work?
No, not really. I mean, our drivers are background checked. They go through motor vehicle checks. They get trained on how to do their specific deliveries. So, if they're delivering medical, they're going through HIPAA training and things like that. So the drivers are good drivers. The crowdsourced platforms are all doing the same type of precautionary measures to make sure that the coronavirus isn't being spread through. When I do your delivery, generally speaking, with a medical delivery, you need a signature. So it's not something that's going to be unattended. So normally, in a pre-pandemic world, we would hand over a phone. The recipient would make a signature on the phone, and then the driver would be on their way. But now we're taking signatures. The driver is actually citing the driver's name, but we're taking the patient's name or the end recipient's name, and we're filling that into the app. So we're still capturing the signatory person, but we're not making them sign because we don't want to hand off that phone and pass any germs back and forth. So we're trying to take the right precautions to put in place to make sure that everybody's safe.
Okay, so the products are delivered to the homes or the locations, I guess I should say, because you did mention that you're also delivering from some retail pharmacies to nursing homes or other locations.
Correct.
So when you do that, then the package is kind of set down. The driver would maybe step back as somebody comes to the door?
It kind of depends. So in some of the nursing homes and places like that, they've got instructions on the doors. So, it might be ring the bell and put it in this box that they have outside. And so when the nurse comes to the door, we get the nurse's name, and then put the item into the bin, and then off we go, so that there's no interaction between them inside and us outside, really making sure that we're not bringing any germs inside so that we're not putting anybody in danger.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. Is there anything different about the types of packages you prefer your drivers to handle, whether it be envelopes or boxes, individual bottles?
Can deliver.
I don't know. Is that
we can deliver anything. I mean, we just want to make sure that the PHI information is hidden from the driver, so that that information is not being exposed. So we just want to make sure that those precautions are in place. But we can take an envelope, we can take a box, we deliver tractors for Tractor Supply, so we can deliver just about anything.
Okay. PHI, patient health information?
Yes, that's
okay.
correct. Sorry.
Just wanted to clarify for whoever's listening. So even at the last mile delivery point, is there anything that you need to do differently in handling some pharmaceuticals that may still need to be refrigerated, or from a packaging point of view, is there anything different for products that need to maintain certain temperature or travel through the cold chain?
Sure. So when we're sending a driver to pick up an item at a pharmacy that either, it needs to be refrigerated, we have the ability to capture instructions, and so the pharmacy will just let us know, hey, this is something that needs to be refrigerated. So we'll instruct the drivers to bring a cooler with them. So when the driver goes to pick up the item at the pharmacy, they come in with the cooler. The items get put into the cooler right away, and then off the driver goes. And so it maintains the cold chain throughout the whole process.
Okay. And are your drivers doing multiple deliveries at a time? So even though the time from point A to point B is relatively short because you're just doing these shorter deliveries, is there a little bit of a delay because there's a number of deliveries?
No, most of what we are doing is point to point.
Okay.
So getting things there as fast as possible and making sure that the cold chain stays intact.
Okay, excellent. Well, what other pharmaceutical supply chain issues might we see still coming because of this health emergency, and why?
I don't think anybody knows what's going to happen yet, and so we might start to see inventory challenges where they haven't just really developed what the final virus. How are we going to fix this? Is there a vaccine? Is there some other solution? And then once they figure that out, what's in it? So where do those items need to come from, and how does that impact the inventory that our shelves have on them now for the pharmaceutical industry? And so I don't think we know what we don't know yet. So making sure that the supplies are prevalent and that we have what we need to make sure that we can kind of head this thing off.
Okay. I know there's been some talk about, possible solutions, possible drugs. And you talk a little bit about this, we're not sure where things are going to be coming from yet. You're at the last mile. Is there anything that you're doing to coordinate with upstream in the supply chain at this point?
I mean, not at this point. We are working, obviously, with pharmacies all across the country and all different types of people in the pharmaceutical verticals, including manufacturers. But it's changing day to day, and so there's not enough that we know where we can really be that proactive in really trying to develop strategies at this point.
Okay. Is there anything pharmaceutical companies, as it relates to packaging and shipments, is there anything that pharmaceutical companies should not do now in regard to this direct-to-customer delivery, and why?
I think the only thing they just should not do is just to sit on their hands and see what's going to happen. I mean, everybody's got to start to become innovative and figure out how can we get items to our customers. Again, medication being so super important for people's health. Really just making sure that they're coming up with different strategies to compete with the coronavirus, and making sure that they're going to be in business when this is all said and done.
Okay. So not quite business as usual, but definitely still business.
Yes, we want to make sure everybody's staying in business, and so trying to create different options that maybe weren't available in the past is really one of the solutions.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, that's the current situation, but the last mile delivery for any products, including pharmaceuticals or any healthcare products, is still going to be quite critical moving forward. So, Valerie, in the post-COVID-19 world, once life and businesses kind of get back to normal, or maybe a new normal, what other trends do you anticipate seeing in delivery for pharmaceuticals? Do you think this industry or the system is going to be forever changed because of what we're going through now?
Absolutely. People are in unprecedented times, and generally speaking, the older populations are a lot of the heavy pharmaceutical users, and they haven't really been working in a delivery space. They're not the folks that are getting onto the computer and ordering same-day delivery for their pharmacy needs. And now they are. They're Zooming. Their grandchildren are teaching them how to adapt to this new quarantine normal, and so they're learning how to do this, and they're becoming accepting of this new way to do it. And so I think you're going to see the industry having this higher level of delivery than it used to, making the different generations more viable for this end product. So I think it's definitely going to be changed. I don't know what our new normal is going to look like, but I think that you'll see an increase in delivery in the pharmacy space just overall.
Okay, wonderful. Valerie, thank you so much for your time and for your insights into this. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Pleasure to be here.